Good afternoon, I'm Steve Hensley. First at 4, we now know the name of the person who died in a Clay County car crash yesterday. WYMT's Dakota Makris talked with the sheriff, who says the driver of the car is now a suspect.
Deputies were called to Chop Bottom Road after they received reports of a car over an embankment. When deputies arrived to the scene of the crash, they found 38-year-old Jimmy Jones dead inside of the car. Clay County Sheriff Patrick Robinson tells me the car involved was reported stolen Saturday night. He says deputies believe speed was a factor in the crash, adding when they got to the scene, the driver was nowhere to be found.
And maybe alcohol or drug involvement was a factor. But as far as dangerous, we don't have many accidents on that road.
Now the sheriff tells me the driver of the car will be facing charges, and the passenger's body was sent for an autopsy. In Clay County, Dakota Makris, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, they are still not releasing the name of the driver as of now, and we are told it could be a couple of days before they release it. The holiday season is a time for giving and, unfortunately, also a time for stealing. This time of year creates several extra opportunities for people to become victims of crime. To prevent break-ins from happening to your home, garage, or shed, those in law enforcement recommend investing in motion sensor lights around your property to deter would-be thieves from moving forward with their plans.
And one of the biggest things that a thief hates is outdoor lighting. We think that you can't have too many outdoor lights. And I like the motion detected lights, and they're very inexpensive right now. You can find them on Amazon, or you can go to local businesses.
Deputy Achardo adds that theft and burglaries are often the hardest crimes to investigate because there's rarely a witness. So he says investing in a video surveillance system is a great way to help them. An old gas station gets a new purpose as the Garrett County Food Pantry uses the space. It's a building 3 times the size of their previous location, and the director of the food pantry hopes to have it fully operational by the end of the week. 2 weeks ago, the old pantry was destroyed in a fire that police say was the result of arson. Since then, donations have poured in. Last week, they met all the needs for Thanksgiving, and now with Christmas on the way, they say they are in a better place than they would have been had a fire not happened.
So many people come together, and this is not my community. It's Ohio, Tennessee, Texas, West Virginia. We've had people come from all over, stop in Brea and Richmond, buy stuff just to donate it, turn around and go back home.
Now, donations continue to pour in to meet both current and future needs. Several freezers arrived there today, and later this week, the Church of Latter-day Saints will be delivering 24 pallets of food to the pantry.
Not a bad looking day around the region, but here's the thing. It's a bit chilly outside. Time-lapse camera from the University of Virginia at Wise showing, and we had some fair weather clouds earlier on today. Those cleared out, but now some high clouds beginning to work in as we get a little bit closer to the sunset hour. You see the sun already setting through that filtered sunshine there, so probably not a bad sunset on the way if you're headed into portions of Wise County. Really, throughout the whole region, you see the high clouds moving in here as well. Buffalo Mountain here at Perry County. Notice the temperature there in the upper right-hand corner of the screen, 41. A lot of us have stayed on the cooler side today. Mid-40s has been the best we've been able to do around parts of the Cumberland Valley. 45 to 46 in Jacksboro, 45 Monticello and Williamsburg, but many of the rest of us still in those low 40s. Look at Pikeville and Logan, still sitting in the upper 30s, not quite making that 40-degree level yet. The good news, it's a clean sweep on Pinpoint Doppler, but those clouds are still going to be with us as we head into the evening, and that actually is not a bad thing. Keep that WYMT weather app handy, though, because it will prevent us from getting too low tonight when it comes to those low temperatures. But it's a sign of things to come. I'll have the latest on what that means for rain chances later this week coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
All right. Thank you very much, Evan. A new COVID-19 variant was discovered during the holiday weekend, and World Health officials say it poses a very high global risk. The newly named Omicron variant was discovered in South Africa, but is sparking action from around the globe as leaders work to contain its spread. Today is the first day of travel restrictions in the United States, keeping non-U.S. citizens from entering the country from South Africa and 7 other nations. But the variant has spread well beyond southern Africa, reaching at least 14 countries. Health experts warn the variant coming to the U.S. is not a matter of if, but when.
If it's not here already, it's going to get here. The reason you do a travel ban is not that you think naively that you're going to keep it out, but it buys you a couple of weeks.
The Biden administration's top health officials spent Thanksgiving weekend coordinating with South African scientists to learn just how dangerous the new variant may be. Meanwhile, vaccine manufacturers say it will take about 2 weeks to learn whether or not their drugs work against Omicron. Despite that, health officials say now is the time to get vaccinated or boosted. Rolling up sleeves for safety in the workplace. That is the stated mission of the Biden administration with its new Labor Department vaccine and testing guidelines. As our Washington News Bureau reporter Peter Zampa reports, public health professionals see mandates as an important weapon in this nearly 2-year fight.
I would think that most people will gradually accept it.
Vaccinate our way out of the pandemic. Public health officials like Dr. Jinhua Yu from the University of Memphis have been calling for this for months. But with a large enough percentage of Americans still resistant to the COVID vaccine, President Joe Biden's Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, is saying companies with 100 employees must get a shot or submit to weekly testing.
We are at the last mile of a really long run. And I hope the mandate will push this last mile a bit further.
The federal rule is causing an uproar. It's blocked in court for the time being, despite vaccine numbers remaining low in some areas, like in Tennessee, where less than half the people are fully vaccinated.
It's a surprise to me that there are so many people, a high percent of people refuse to accept this public health strategy.
Well, some business leaders and elected officials are saying they're thrilled this guidance is blocked in the courts. Tennessee Senator Marsha Blackburn says this is not an anti-vax movement. She says it's an issue of choice.
Individuals are going to know best how to protect themselves.
Blackburn argues there are some individuals who are not a candidate for the vaccine for health reasons. She says the federal government stepping in with guidance is the wrong approach.
It's better leaving individuals free to exercise their freedom, their independence, and to make a choice.
The federal guidance is slated to go into effect in early January. Its fate in the court system is currently unclear. In Washington, I'm Peter Zampa.
Well, Merriam-Webster has picked the one word it believes represents 2021, and that word is vaccine. Today, the publisher announced vaccine is its official 2021 word of the year. Merriam-Webster says the choice highlights the dual discussions surrounding vaccinations this year, how the COVID-19 vaccine was seen as both a promising medical solution and a source of political argument and division. This is the second year Merriam-Webster has made a coronavirus-influenced pick. Pandemic was its 2020 word of the year. Jack Dorsey is stepping down as CEO of Twitter. In a statement, he says he's leaving because the company is ready to move on from its founders. Dorsey will stay on as a member of Twitter's board until at least next year. Twitter's Chief Technology Office president will take over as CEO. During Dorsey's tenure, Twitter posted its first billion-dollar quarter and began releasing new features to draw in users. But the social networking site has also faced scrutiny over misinformation and content moderation. On a similar note, Facebook whistleblower Frances Haugen is set to testify before a House subcommittee Wednesday. Her appearance will come during a hearing examining possible changes to the laws governing tech companies. It comes weeks after Haugen leaked what have been called the Facebook papers to the Securities and Exchange Commission. In tens of thousands of pages, internal documents shine a spotlight on the social media giant's problems, including hate speech and misinformation. She also told attendees at a tech conference she believes CEO Mark Zuckerberg should step down. Let's head over to Wall Street now on this Monday after Thanksgiving, Cyber Monday. The Dow closes up more than 236 points. We'll have more financial news in our next half hour. Straight ahead here on First at 4, with Christmas now just weeks away, we take a look at how to make sure it's as stress-free as possible for all members of the family.
And we're bringing mild weather back as we head into the month of December. I'll have the latest on how high the mercury could climb. On the way.